I'll talk about London in a second, but first I want you guys to watch the safety video that they had for the plane.
It helps explain the safety equipment and procedures of this particular aircraft and gives you an idea of what to do in an emergency. If you have any questions after watching it, ask what the aisles and exits need to be kept clear. So, if there is anything you
So I finally got to go to England. I was super stoked about it, and I did get to ride in several double-decker buses. I was happy to find out that they are in fact everywhere, so that made me really happy. Honestly, this trip made me so happy. I was in training for most of the trip, so Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But I was able to explore on the weekends a little bit, and I just really liked that I got to take this trip, especially since it was basically all paid for, other than food. But welcome to British supermarkets, where they put prawns in everything, especially chips. I never did get the guts to try the sandwich, but I did try prawn chips and they were fine. And also, look at these prices. Like, people were saying stuff was expensive out here, and then I looked at the prices and I was like, excuse me? Also, Mexican food. It was funny that I saw it, that they had just a specific shelf for Mexican food, so that was funny. And then all the milk in England has to be British milk for some reason, and I never found out why, but like, you're not allowed to bring dairy products into England, so that was interesting. And then this was just one of the stations that I took pretty often. This was the one nearest to the house, and then this was the host house. So it held 4 girls, but usually there was only 3. For 2 days it was just me, so that's when I was taking this. So there were the 2 bunk beds on the one side, and then a curtain, and then the 2 other bunk beds. And normally then the curtain would be closed to make it seem like it was 2 rooms, but we shared a bathroom, and then there was just 1 wardrobe for all of us. But this was a weekend, so I was all dressed up to go out because I was not allowed to wear clothes like this in class. But they also had this really nice backyard. The host mom showed me around it, and it was like actually really big. You couldn't tell from like outside the window, but then she was walking me through it, and I was like, wow, it just keeps going. I was technically not in London. I was in Watford, which is about 40 minutes by subway away from London. So it was pretty easy to go into London. This was also not London. This is Watford. So this is the main central area. My host mom lived a little bit outside of it. But look, they have Chipotle and they have Five Guys. They have a lot of American fast food here, actually. One thing I for the life of me could not find was a coffee shop in Watford. And this turns out to be the only one I managed to find that was an actual coffee shop, and it was always open only when I was in school, so I had to come here on the weekends. Anything else that said it was a coffee shop either sold weed or was a restaurant that would sell you instant coffee. So it was really hard to find a coffee shop, and I don't know why, but it was impossible for me to find it. But this place was awesome. I went back 3 times. After getting coffee in Watford, I finally went into actual London for the first time. I technically flew into London, but I didn't get to see a lot of it before heading to Watford. This was my first time, and I was so happy with how all the buildings actually looked so impressive. Also, this reminds me of those adult coloring books. I hope you know what I'm talking about. Amanda definitely will. But that's what it reminded me of, so I took a video of it. And then I just saw this crane hanging, and I was like, that deserves a video. But obviously, because I went to London, I had to get some coffee, since there were actual coffee shops available now, and Lori actually found these for me, so thank you so much, Lori. I love you so much. And so she found me this coffee shop, and it was super cute, with like the window and everything like that, and they like sold local art. So that was the coffee shop I went to, and right next to it, there was another one. So I went in this one, and I actually got a London fog, but I ordered it like by the ingredients, and then I asked the barista, she gave it to me. I was like, do you know what we call this? And she was like, well, it's like a London fog. And apparently they do not call them London fogs. They don't know what it is, which I kind of expected. It sounds like something we named. And then as I was leaving, I saw this like a street, like, it's essentially like a strip mall, but it had like a bunch of cool little stores, and I really wished I could have stopped in and like shopped in them and stuff like that, but I was going somewhere, but honestly that would have been so great. And then this is from anybody who's ever read Hunger Games. Enjoy. And then I don't remember why I took a video of this station. I want to say this is some really big station, and if I told you the name, you'd be like, oh my gosh, that station. I cannot remember what it is right now. But I took it all the way to Baker Street, and then look, there's Sherlock Holmes. And I actually went to the Sherlock Holmes Museum. I don't know if you know this about me. I don't like Sherlock Holmes. I have read all the stories, and I don't enjoy them. But I went to the museum because I was like, why not? And then afterwards, I went and got pasta in this restaurant, and everybody was super nice. But I just had so much sugar that day that I couldn't eat all my pasta, and then I felt super bad. I did tip that guy. He was great. Day 2 of going into London, I wore my pretty dress and my pretty hat. I was very excited about it. And I saw this and I said to Lola, and she thought it was funny. But I decided I was going to see all the touristy things this day. So this was me going to Big Ben and Buckingham Palace. And I'm pretty sure that's all I managed to fit in. Obviously, the London Eye is there too. I didn't ride the London Eye because honestly, I didn't think it'd be worth it. I had other stuff I wanted to see and walk around, and going on a big Ferris wheel didn't seem worth it. Big Ben, I was so impressed, is actually beautiful. I don't know if you can tell how beautiful it is, but it was actually beautiful. And I say that because so many other things, that's apparently where like their parliament or something have business. And then this video was actually taken by some random guy. Him and his friends were trying to take a picture of each other. And I was like, oh, I'll take a picture of you. And they're like, oh, thank you so much. And then he was like, you want a picture? And I was like, well, I don't want a picture. I want to take a video of myself. And they're like, I got you. So he took this video of me. And obviously I'm very awkward because I didn't know what he was doing with it. So I'm just kind of smiling there. But he took a video of me. I got to do my fun little spins. And then he made sure I got the London Eye. The people behind me right here, those are his friends that I took pictures of them. But yeah, they were super nice. So that was super fun. And I really enjoyed it. And then along the lamppost, they had, like, of course, the keys and the people writing their names. So I love that that's just on every single bridge in the entire world, that's just become a thing. I kind of wonder why, but that was fun. I was hungry, so I went to just the nearest restaurant I could find near there, and I got breakfast, even though it was way too sweet and sugary, and I didn't need more sugar. I wasn't very fond of this dessert, but I got halloumi, which is a cheese, and it's basically Mennonite cheese, but not, and I don't remember where it's from, but it's really good. And then I just stumbled upon this market, and so of course I had to go look around it, and I should remind you, this whole time I am wearing that pink frilly dress and that big hat. Flying off, and so a couple people asked if there was a reason I was wearing it, and I was like, no, I just like it. And so a couple people struck up a conversation with me about that, so that was fun. And then I went to this huge station, and I wandered around there for a good 2 hours. I saw this game, they call him Wally, and I finally realized that I was trying to get a bus, not a subway, and so of course, I visited Buckingham Palace, not because I was really interested in it, just because, you know, people are going to ask, did you go? And then I'd be like, no, and they'd be like, not. So I went, and there was like the cyclist thing happening, and so everything was like cornered off as I walked up, and then it was immediately over. But as you can see, the gate is really cool, and I think that's because they realized the building is so boring, and so they just put a pretty fence around it to try to distract you. Because all the pretty buildings have shown me so far, and this is where the royals live. Like, that's crazy. I would want a prettier house, in my opinion. Like, everything around it is pretty. Like this golden statue, it looks great, but the house itself, it was just kind of bland. I mentioned it to a couple of people, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't know why it's such a boring house." But there's my spin. I like spinning in my dress, so there you go. And then couldn't even like go up to the guards because the gates were locked and everything like that. But there's a guard, and we could watch them switch, but that was about it. I didn't stick around for it, but there you go. There's Buckingham Palace, and it's kind of interesting how even like these random buildings next door to the palace looked cooler. I don't know. I feel like they should invest in some decorations. Anyway, I found this random ice cream place that makes it in like flowers, and it was actually a really convenient way to eat it, so I thought that was cool. And then top it off, look at the little ballerina. Isn't she so pretty? I love her. And then on the way back, when I was on the subway, a bunch of men came in and they were doing those chants that you hear them do at like soccer games. They were chanting about celery and they threw celery everywhere, and then they left and there was a bunch of celery. As you watch my little walkthrough tour of my school, I'm going to talk about some stuff that I didn't get to take a video of. One of those things is that I actually got to watch one of the longest running plays in the world, which is Mousetrap by Agatha Christie, and I didn't even realize that it was such a special play until I showed up. It was in a really pretty theater, and it was really interesting. It was a whodunit murder mystery, so I really enjoyed it, and I got to do that one day because my host mom was nice enough to let me stay out for that. And every day we would come to school, we would do appearance checks. We had to have like very specific hairstyles, clothing, all this stuff, makeup. You can see this little like ceramic cat on the roof, and I thought that was cute. I only noticed it on like my third week, but I spent like a whole 3 weeks there. This was a photo booth area that you could take like pictures at, and so I wanted to take like a little video of me in it. And then the person who was videoing told me that I should pretend to talk, so I did like the Charlie Brown's characters. But it was really cool going to school there. I didn't really learn a ton. We learned a bunch of protocols. We learned how to sell stuff, things like that. But it was really interesting meeting everyone there. We had a couple people from Ukraine. We had obviously a lot from England. Quite a few of them were from Manchester, so that was cool. And we had one girl from Scotland, and she was super sweet. She didn't have like a very strong Scottish accent, but she was super nice, and it was definitely an experience going here. I don't know what else to say about it other than that, because it was really tiring, and we had to get up super early to be able to get there, and it was kind of boring a lot of the time. But the teachers I really liked a lot of the teachers, and just getting to be in England and learn stuff. And this whole building is just really cool, so you're going to see me walk all the way around it. And it was like, we want to say it was like some kind of old house or something like that, but just walking around it was really fun. And so some of my classmates, I had one, she was super funny, and she used to try to do a southern accent, but she would do the funniest faces when she would do it, and it was like a really bad accent, and so that was really cute. And then at one point, two of my classmates looked up Texas slang to ask me if people actually said them, and some of them they did, and some of them they didn't. And ever since then, anytime I like think of some Texas slang, I really want to text them and just be like, hey, we say this in Texas, but it'd be so random. Like today, I remembered all get out. It's as hard as all get out. And I don't know. I figured it'd be kind of funny if I text them and just like, hey, we say this in Texas, but I haven't. I do have a couple other numbers that I get a text. Not really anybody from my class because we had different classes, but there was one girl who did beauty, but she did an extra week learning massage with us, and so I get to talk with her, and they've all gone to their shifts now, and so we get like message each other and talk about like how our different shifts are, how our roommates are, the quality of life, things like that. So it's really cool to like check in with them. I'm really happy that we're staying in contact, even if just a little bit, because my fear is always like you just meet somebody and then you never talk to them again. And host mom too, sometimes she'll like check in on us, and she's so sweet. The host family I stayed with, the host mom was super nice. She'd drop us off in her car every morning, and she had this little 4-year-old, 5-year-old daughter, and she was super sweet, and she would come and play in our room sometimes, and she would always ride with us in the morning, even though she didn't have to, and so she was super sweet, and I really liked them. I actually almost went to Italy on Saturday because I was supposed to be there 4 weeks, and so the end of the third week I was going to book flights to go to Italy for the day. I was going to leave at 6 a.m., get back at midnight. That was my plan. And I got my host mom's approval over text, but I wanted like her act, because you never tell if people are actually supporting over text, so I wanted to like ask her in person if she was okay with me doing that. She was super chill. She would have been fine with it. And thank goodness I waited to book the flights, because during my last day of school, I had an hour left of school, and I was supposed to have another week of school left, and suddenly they emailed me, and they're like, you're leaving tomorrow. You have 18 hours before your flight. And so that's how much notice I got before I flew out of England. And so I had like a bunch of souvenirs I still wanted to buy, and I was bummed about. I had letters I needed to send that I couldn't because the post office was closed. And so I hated how last minute it was. I was kind of sad I didn't get to just like make a day trip to Italy, because how cool would that have been to just be like, oh yeah, I went to England and I took a day trip to Italy. But I didn't get to do that, and I was kind of bummed about it. But I guess now I'll have to take like an actual proper trip there one day. Maybe once I'm done on this ship. But from London, we then went to Putney Point, and so that's what my next video is going to be about, is me there. But it was really cool being in London. All the people there were so sweet and so nice, and it was really fun getting to like try everything there. I will say that British chips, I'm not down for British chips. I found American spicy Cheetos there one day, and I brought them to my host family, and I let my 2 roommates try them in comparison to spicy British Cheetos. And for one, the British Cheetos are not spicy at all, and for 2, the taste is just not there. Which they have other good tasting things, it's just not the chips. And I let my roommates try them, and the one roommate, she loved the American Cheetos so much, but she couldn't handle the spice. She was from Portugal, I believe, and so she was like sweating and like almost crying, and she was chugging water, but she kept eating the Cheetos because she liked how they tasted. So maybe sometime I should send her some non-spicy American chips if she liked the spicy Cheetos so much. But they have this LWA that you'll see here, and we took some pictures by there. I'll see if I can add in some pictures at the end of this video, but it is already a little bit long. But yeah, that was my trip to London. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was really interesting that I saw. Of all the places I have gone that I would want to live, this is probably the second highest. The highest would be Kyoto. I loved Kyoto. It was so pretty and perfect. It had everything we needed. But the second, like, I would totally be okay living in Watford. Like, it was so pretty, and public transportation was good enough, and it had just a good mixture of nature and city, and it was a really nice place to be. And so I was really happy that the school was in Watford versus England, because then it's so much more busy, but I could always hop on a train and be in England in less than an hour. And so it was really, really cool. But that's my little tour of my school. I thought it was really pretty. I liked wandering around there sometimes. I would have shown you more of the inside, but I felt kind of like self-conscious about taking videos in there. I didn't know how much I was allowed, so I didn't. But it was very interesting, and yeah, that was my trip to London. Stay tuned for my trip to Piney Point, and then me on a cruise ship, because I'm here now.